welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant, and I'm the mom of, I shouldn't say I have, but I'm the mom of 3 kiddos. One is 25. My son is 25, and then I have twins, boy-girl twins, that are 23. All of my kids were breastfed, and I've been a lactation consultant for about almost 20 years. So a long time. They were babies when I started. They were like 2.
Oh my God.
I know. It's crazy. I've been talking about their ages for 20 years now. I've been like, they were 3, they're 3, they're 5, they're 8. Now I'm like, they're 23. So crazy how time flies.
It is crazy. And I'm Abby, the badass breastfeeder. And my kiddos are 14 and 11, 2 boys here in Chicago. And they were breastfed for a long time, 6.5, 5 years. They tandem nursed. Jack started out with formula supplementation out of the hospital. So we've been all over the map. Mm-hmm. And today's episode is brought to you by a brand new sponsor, which is Solid Starts. And they're not brand new because we've worked with them before and we love them and we are so happy to have them back. Solid Starts is an app that helps you feel calm and confident when it's time to introduce food to your baby. It is a really cool concept that we will hear more about later. And today's episode is also brought to you by Nursing Queen. Nursing Queen is a badass breastfeeder-owned company with stylish and functional nursing clothes designed to help you breastfeed or pump more comfortably. And we will hear more from our sponsors later. And you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com. Check out our sponsor page. If you ever need anything, see if you can give them any of your business because they make this podcast possible. And while you're there, scroll down and enter your email address and we'll send episodes straight to your inbox every week. We are on Patreon and we would love to have you join our private and judgment-free community. You can access lactation support from members from Dianne, your very own IBCLC, and myself in our weekly wellness checks. You will also receive access to our new podcast, Revolution Parenting, where we talk about parenting topics to grow kinder and more compassionate adults. You will have a community of badasses to receive parenting support during the most challenging times of parenting. Your membership helps fund evidence-based, no-nonsense support here on the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast and Revolution Parenting. You can head to the top link in our show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and choose a tier that looks good to you. We are also still hosting our ongoing giveaway for people who leave reviews around the internet, like on iTunes or Spotify. You can also share the podcast on your socials. Just take a screenshot of what you're doing, send it over to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll send you a thank you goodie bag full of thank you for nursing in public cards and podcast stickers. And I'm still looking for breastfeeding photos, always and forever. So if you have a breastfeeding photo that you wouldn't mind me sharing on my social media, which is the Badass Breastfeeder on Instagram and Facebook, please send it over to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com with a little bit about yourself or not. Oh, also, if you're sending the pictures, I keep forgetting to add this, we'll send you a goodie bag as well as a thank you. So, send your photo, send your address, and we'll send you a goodie bag as a thanks. And now, Dianne, here's our review of the week.
Hi, ladies. I reviewed you on Spotify and can't write anything there, but thought I'd email my review. I appreciate your podcast and insights so much and just want to thank you for all your time and knowledge. I'm an IBCLC now, but was studying to become one when I started listening, and a registered dietitian. I work in a low-resource African country where breastfeeding can literally make a life or death difference. I am the only official lactation consultant in the country that I know of, and this means I don't really have mentors or anyone to ask for help. Your podcast helps to fill that gap. Thank you so much. Kind regards. So this is amazing. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And she's right. Breastfeeding can be a life or death situation. And we don't think about that in our higher resource countries, we're like, oh, it's just an option of feeding and like, but in some places, it can make the difference between whether or not a baby will live or die. And that is really heavy to think about.
Yeah. And I spoke with her a little bit because we were just so interested in like where she was and what it was like. And she was working in South Africa and now she is in Botswana.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have any questions, we can ask her.
It's amazing.
For more for information on kind of what it's like, you know, dealing with what kind of problems you deal with. I don't know. I need to send her an email back and get some more information because it is interesting.
It really is. It really is. So thank you so much for what you're doing because that's really important work. And today we are going to talk about things that they tell you to do, but don't tell you why to do it.
Yeah.
And that's lots of different things. Your whole life, people are going to be telling you what to do and not tell you why to do it.
Yeah. Yes. That's so funny because my mom, I remember when Jack was a baby and he was like running on the side of the pool, I think it was. And I was like, Jack, stop. I was like, Jack, don't run. It's slippery. You can fall and like hit your head. And my mom was like, you don't have to like freak him out like that. You can just say no running. And I'm like, what? I'm so parenting for like exactly not to do shit like that. Like, Why would I not tell him why he shouldn't be running? What?
I know.
There's no reason why you can't
tell him why.
There's all the reasons to tell him why. So then you're not, it's like, okay, my mom's just telling me no because she's, you know, telling me no. And then I'm going to defy her just because. No, there's reasons for everything. And if there's not, well, then maybe there shouldn't be a rule.
Exactly.
And you know, this was the same I was talking about last episode, like being in the hospital with Jack and being told to supplement. And they were just like, it's okay. You're still going to be able to breastfeed. Your milk will come in. Don't worry. Here's your big garbage bag full of formula. Go home. And then there was no, like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
There was no, I had no idea what to do. And I know you have a lot of examples, and that's my example. And we also have some examples in Patreon.
Yeah. I mean,
people are,
I know. People are told like all sorts of things and they get out of the hospital and then they're like, what am I doing this for? And
how do I stop? And
how
long am I supposed to be doing this? Like,
it's crazy, you know? And then they'll ask me like, how much should I supplement? How much should I do? How much should I give? How long do I need to do this for? And it's like, didn't anybody tell you? And they're like, no,
they do not.
And they just think you're going to know everything because you had a baby.
Yeah.
Without really realizing
like
you don't.
You're only here for a second. You're only in the hospital for a short period of time. So we're just telling you like the bare minimum. And then you get out and it's not their problem anymore. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, I don't think that anybody has that attitude. Like, get out of here. You're not my problem anymore. But like, they are kind of like getting you in and getting you out. Like you can't stay here forever. Like, you know, we've got more people coming in. So here's how you're going to deal with this right now. And now you got to go.
So, and most people don't want to stay in the hospital forever, right? Most people are like, all right, I want to go home. I want to get home. I've got other kids at home, or I want to just get on with my life with my baby. And they're not really thinking about the what ifs later on.
Well, yeah. And I remember you saying one time also too, like, it's better, like, get out of there. Just like get out of the hospital because like the longer you stay there, they're just not equipped to deal with much after like the first day.
Right.
You know, that's not what they see. That's not what they're doing. So like you're better off just like getting out of there, getting home, getting to where you're going to be, and then get yourself a lactation consultant, not the one in the hospital.
Yeah, it's definitely different once you can see somebody that's outside of the hospital setting. It's better. They can help you with things that are happening later on. The hospital IBCLCs are great for helping you with what's going on in the hospital setting.
Right.
But then once you're out of the hospital, you need somebody that's more in tune with what's going on outside the hospital. So one of the first things that we hear is skin to skin, right? We say do lots of skin to skin. You should be doing skin to skin as soon as the baby's born. They're going to put the baby on your skin. And but do people really know why they do this and why it's so important? Because it really is important. It's not just like a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
It's really important. It's not like just like, oh, it's, bonding. I've got my baby right there. It's a nice bonding thing, but it's, not necessary. Yeah, it kind of is necessary. So what it does, it's biologically stabilizes your baby. It stabilizes their heart rate and their breathing. Because when babies are born, some of their heart rate might be going a little bit fast. Their breathing might be uncoordinated. It helps to stabilize that stuff. Their body temperature, it helps them to stabilize. It improves their oxygen saturation. It helps to bring down those cortisol levels or those stress hormones in both the parent and the baby. So being born is very stressful. Your stress hormones go up, and being skin to skin will bring everything down again. It also will trigger those early feeding reflexes and improve their latch behavior. So if the baby is right skin to skin with you, they know they're close to the breast. They can smell you. They have a very strong sense of smell when they're born, and they are very much in tune with where they are. So they will find the breast. It will support their glucose regulation. Which means that it'll help to regulate their blood sugars. So there's a lot of regulating happening with babies skin to skin, and the more they are skin to skin and the longer they are skin to skin, the better off they are. So when it comes to their body temperature, you can put a baby under a warmer and their body temperature will rise. But once you take the baby out from under the warmer, they're out from under that light and they're not being, warmed like that anymore. Their temperature can decrease again. But if they're skin to skin with you, their body temperature will rise and it will stabilize and it will stay where it needs to. And that is really important. So it is just really great to do that skin to skin often and as much as you can. And whenever feeding isn't going well, we always kind of go back to that skin to skin thing. I had a mom the other day, the baby was 6 weeks old, 7 weeks old, something like that, and was not latching well. And I'm like, do some skin to skin. And that's when the baby started latching better, was when she did that skin to skin again. It really can help. And it doesn't matter how old the baby is. I mean, if they're 16, I don't suggest it. But if, you've got a little baby. And I remember you, Abby, even saying at one point, I think it was Exley was sick. He was 2 and you were doing skin to skin with him because he had a fever. Mm-hmm. And you can still do skin to skin with your babies. Yeah. It doesn't, it's not just a newborn thing.
Right. And it just helps them become more comfortable and they sleep better and
they're calmer.
Yeah.
It's just better all the way around. So lots of skin to skin with your baby. It's something that partners can do as well. It doesn't have to be just the parent, the birth parent. It's something that partners can do. Mm-hmm. So incorporate this for your partner as well. Make this something that your partner does with your baby, because that can be really important, a really important bonding piece for your partner to be doing with your baby as well. So lots of skin to skin. Now, low birth weight babies. We just talked about low birth weight babies in the last episode. So we're not going to get into huge amounts of stuff with them, but why short frequent feeds help them. Because they might be, you might be told if you have a preterm baby, short frequent feeds are what you need to do. And that is because babies don't have a lot of stamina in those first couple weeks of life if they are early. Mm-hmm. If they are low birth weight, they're not going to have as much stamina. So you want to, and you could have a low birth weight baby that is full term and they're not going to have as much stamina. They have limited energy reserves. So what you want to do is short, frequent feeds, because you're getting nutrition to them without exhausting them, which is really important because once they tire out, they're not going to feed efficiently. That will help support a steady weight gain with those babies and allow them to practice their feeding skills. And as they grow and get a little bit bigger and more coordinated and stronger, they're going to be able to feed more efficiently. So sometimes it just, especially with little babies, you just need time. That's all you need is just a little bit of time. But it's hard because it's like, as a lactation consultant, I will tell people like short, frequent feeds, which might mean you're feeding that baby every hour and a half instead of every 2 to 3 hours. That feels overwhelming and a lot. And it is a lot, but it's important and it doesn't mean it's going to last forever. That's what we really need to remember, is that this doesn't last forever. It's just until your baby gets a little bit stronger. And then once they're a little bit stronger, we can stretch out their feedings a little bit more. You can feed them on demand instead of feeding them on a time schedule, and everything will even itself out. But in the beginning, while they're still early and little, you might need to feed more frequently and wake them for feeds.
So we should take a break.
Oh, okay. Yes, good idea. I'm just talking
We'll be right
away.
back with more. Today's episode is brought to you by Nursing Queen. Nursing Queen is a badass breastfeeder-owned company with stylish and functional nursing clothing designed to help you breastfeed or pump more comfortably. The thing about Nursing Queen is that you cannot tell it's nursing clothing. The secret is in the hidden zippers and flaps. No pulling, stretching, or lifting needed. So much easier for you when you are out and about, running errands or at work or whatever. And I don't say this about a lot of companies because even if I believe you will like it, I just don't breastfeed anymore. But Nursing Queen, I do still give them my money because their clothes are just stylish. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we talk a lot about like the hidden zippers and the sweatshirts. But there is also, you know, they also have these hidden flap things. And they have this nursing sweater with asymmetrical flap. So it's just like a sweater. And in the front, it's got like a kind of a short turtleneck, not like a tight turtleneck thing, but like a kind of a higher neck. And then it has like an asymmetrical flap across the front, which just looks very stylish. But if you lift it up, it's got nursing access. And it's just very cool. You got to go to nursingqueen.com and check out the clothes. They're very nice and you will probably want some. So go to nursingqueen.com and make sure that you use code BADASS because you will get 10% off of your purchase. And today's episode is also brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Solid Starts. This is the app that helps you feel calm and confident when it's time to introduce food to your baby. If you've ever thought, what food do I start with? Or do I serve strawberries, chicken, or just about any other food you can think of safely to my baby? Solid Starts walks you through it step by step. Inside the app, you'll find a huge first foods database with simple, age-appropriate serving guidance. Plus recipes, practical guides, and tools created by a team of pediatric pros, feeding specialists, pediatric dietitians, pediatricians, and pediatric allergists. The Solid Starts app also walks you through how to safely introduce common food allergens like peanuts and eggs to your baby. Make sure you know when to start, how to offer common allergens, what high risk actually means, and how to build regular exposure in a way that feels doable. It's designed for real life, busy days, messy meals, and all the questions that pop up in between, whether you're just getting started or you're troubleshooting, gagging, overstuffing, picky phases, or allergens. Solid Starts is like having a supportive expert in your pocket. And for badass breastfeeding listeners, Solid Starts is offering a discount of 25% off your first year annual subscription with code BADASS. So you can head to Solid Starts, you look up the app, sign up, use code BADASS, or can make it easier, just scroll down into the show notes under this episode, wherever you are listening from, and click the link by the Solid Starts. You'll see it. It'll say Solid Starts, and there'll be a link. Click it. And the code will already be applied, and you can sign up right there. So highly recommend it. We love Solid Starts, and it's great for starting solids, obviously. And all of our sponsors and their promo codes can be found in our show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, also at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com, where you will also find all of our other episodes, our favorite resources page, and information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne.
So let's talk about some positioning. And when we talk about like laid back nursing, like a lot of people say, oh, the biological feeding, biological nursing, you do laid back nursing, like that works great. It's wonderful. It's great for babies. It is great, but some babies aren't very good at it. So why that happens and why sometimes it works and why sometimes it doesn't. What you aren't told when you are told to try laid back breastfeeding is that it can depend on your baby's tone, muscle tone, because that's different for every baby, depending especially on whether or not they're early, on, just how little they are, whatever, reflexes and their control. So they need to have strong reflexes. They need good head and trunk control. You need to have it can also help to slow the milk if you have a fast flow. Mm-hmm. So, and if your baby is sensitive to milk flow. But if your baby has low tone, poor head control, a weak suck, if they're premature, it might not work for those babies. So it might make feeding harder for them. So you really have to consider what is going on with your baby when we are doing specific positions. So it's not don't ever try it. You know what I mean? Definitely try all the different positions, try laying down, try laid back, try those things and see how your baby does. If it's something that your baby doesn't do well, that's okay. Give them a little bit more time and they probably will do it fine in a couple of weeks. But while they're still learning, it might not be the position for them. And the same thing with the cradle hold. I tell this to parents all the time, cradle hold where you got the baby just kind of in the crook of your arm. That is not necessarily a good position for babies that are brand new. And the cradle hold is the position you see the most. Yes. If you ever see breastfeeding, which is not that common, but if you do see it, the baby's in cradle hold. Mm-hmm. And if your baby does not have good head control, head and neck control, if they're not really good with their latching, they're not going to do it well. So babies that are newborn, they need more head and neck support. They need to be aligned really well. They need more control. They need more help from you and they need to be able to latch better. So, and they're learning still. So you want to be able to give them the support that they need, and the cradle hold just doesn't do it. So just kind of keep in mind that the cradle hold requires a lot of skill off your baby, right? It's just not as easy for them to do. It is definitely a hold that you can do as your baby's older, once they have more head and neck control. But when they're newborn, and I have to tell this to parents all the time because they just automatically just want to slide their arm in there and just let their baby lay on their arm and that's it. But babies that are brand new and newborn, they just don't do it well. And you might get pain. This is where you might have painful latching. You might have babies that just don't stay latched well. They're on and off the breast because they can't maintain a latch in that position. They need more support. So doing more of like a cross cradle hold where you're holding them better, or a football hold where they're a little bit more tucked in, that might be better for them while they are still learning. So that's my gist on positioning. Bottles. Why bottles? There's so much about bottles. Like, I don't even know what to say. So, but they get a bad rap. Like,
yeah,
people say like, avoid them. Don't give any bottles. We shouldn't be giving any bottles until the baby's like, I've had people wait like, oh my God, I was so afraid that the baby would get, nipple confusion, that I didn't give a bottle for the first 3 months and now the baby won't take one. Like, it is so, people are so confused about what to do with bottles. Bottles can require different oral motor patterns. And we do have lots of episodes on this. Like, it is so different for babies to suck, swallow, and breathe with a bottle than it is when they're breastfeeding. And people also think that it's easier for babies to bottle feed when it actually is not easier for them to bottle feed. Bottle feeding is not what they're physiologically meant to do. They're physiologically meant to breastfeed, babies are. So bottle feeding can feel like a little bit more complicated while they're learning how to breastfeed. So some babies can go back and forth very easily, and some babies have a little bit more of a harder time going back and forth. Some babies can, will learn how to breastfeed really well and then go to bottles and learn how to bottle feed very well. Some babies learn how to breastfeed and they just can't make it work with a bottle. Those are those babies that people say, my baby just won't take a bottle. They just can't figure it out. Like, it's a lot, it's a lot for them. So they're having a little bit harder time figuring out their suck, swallow, and breathe and getting that coordination going. So if you're introducing a bottle, like I said, it's neurological learning. So if we are introducing a bottle before breastfeeding skills are stable, that can help to teach faster, less adaptive sucking patterns and reduce the baby's tolerance for a variable flow. It can also create confusion for them when they're at the breast. So it might be like them waiting for that faster milk flow instead of having to, parents say, well, the baby just doesn't want to work for it. They're not like
lazy ass baby.
I know. Like, everybody kind of thinks, oh, the baby's just, lazy. They don't want to work for the breast milk. They don't want to work for it. They just, no, there's something happening there. They're just confused by what is going on because now we've got two things being introduced to them. So it's a lot easier if a baby can figure out how to breastfeed first, and then they are figuring out how to bottle feed afterwards. So it's more of a timing thing. So we want them to get used to their suck coordination. We want them to figure out how to suck, swallow, and breathe while they're breastfeeding first. We want them to get used to how the breast flows, and you want to pace their feedings. So if you are bottle feeding, you want to pace it like they would do it at the breast. When they're at the breast, they take a few sucks and swallows, they take a break, they breathe, then they start again, they pick it up again. That is how you should be doing bottle feeding. Babies should not be sucking these bottles down at a very fast rate to where they're finishing them in 5 minutes. You want to be slowing down their feeding with a bottle, doing paced bottle feeding, which we do have episodes on too, because it's slow feeds are what we want for these babies. So they should be doing like a couple of sucks on the bottle. You take the bottle out. People are like, but then the baby cries. They're fine. They're fine.
They're literally fine. Yeah.
You have to burp them more with a bottle. So you want to take those burp breaks. So you might want to give them like, half an ounce, few sucks and few swallows, take the bottle out, let them breathe for a minute, burp, then give them a little bit more. You also want to stay with a slow flow nipple. There's no reason why your baby needs to go to a faster flow. If you have a really fast milk flow and your baby is used to that really fast milk flow from your breast, then you could probably get away with a faster milk flow, like an advanced nipple.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not everybody. So you want to definitely be sure that you are like keeping that flow from the nipple of the bottle a lot slower. And it's also like a marketing thing, right?
Oh, God, totally.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just like using all of these different bottle nipples. Like, come on.
Because they're all advertising like, oh, well, this will help with your baby doing this, and this will help with your baby doing that. And it's not, this is like actually totally against the WHO code, by the way. And this doesn't happen in other countries. Like,
Right.
We are just like advertising crazy, and they can say whatever they want. There's no regulations on it. I mean, there are, but the United States doesn't follow them.
Right.
So when you're reading about like, oh, this nipple, that, and this bottle and this, that, it's all just nonsense.
And people usually end up like, when I see parents, will be like, I have all these bottles. I don't know which one, because they all say they're the best.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like, oh, this is the best for the breastfed baby. It's just like the breast. No, they can say that because they're marketing you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no reason.
Crazy.
And then they say, oh, if your baby's this age, they should be using this size nipple. If they're this age, they should be using this size nipple. No, you can leave them on a slow flow nipple their entire life. Like their entire bottle feeding experience can be on a slow flow nipple. It does not have to be, you don't have to go up with their age. Same thing with pacifiers. I didn't even know until like just not that long ago that they had pacifiers for different ages. Like, really?
I don't think I knew that either.
It's crazy. Like, you don't need to change that. I know. It's just a marketing thing. So bottles can be something that you need to use. Lots of parents, because you're returning to work, like have to use bottles. So it is something that you definitely want to make sure that you have down and that you are doing the way your baby can feed, going back and forth between breast and bottle. So it's more of the timing. That's really what it is. It's not like, oh my God, you can't ever give a bottle. No, it's just more of like, you want to be sure you're doing it slowly. You want to be sure you're doing pace bottle feeding. You want to be sure that your baby is doing well at the breast before you start introducing those bottles, if possible. It's just really important that way. And then when they get old enough, you can just do a sippy cup. And you don't have to go to a bottle. So I've had that happen too, where parents, like if the baby wasn't doing well with a bottle, they could just go to a sippy cup. And the babies can do that fine. So anytime after like 6-7 months, you can do a sippy cup and you can get rid of those bottles altogether. But
awesome.
So those are kind of the things that I have come across that parents don't really know about. I've
got a couple of things here from Patreon.
Oh, perfect.
So we've got why to hand massage or pump before and after a pumping session, especially in the beginning. And then why kangaroo care is important, even with the risk of moving baby to and from the incubators.
Oh, okay. So the first one, the massaging the breast, that can be really great to help the milk with milk letdown. So you are massaging the breast, you are prior to feeding or prior to pumping and while you are pumping. We call that hands-on pumping. And that helps to express more milk because hand expression, believe it or not, does way better than pumping does. So when you are able to do some hand expression with the pumping, that can really help to get you more milk. So it can just help make pumping and feeding more efficient when you are doing that massaging with the breast as well. And then the kangaroo care.
Yeah.
Kangaroo care is just skin to skin. And if your baby is NICU and they're super little, maybe they're premature, maybe they're really premature, like kangaroo care started, I can't remember where, and I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was like in a third world country or something where there was no incubators. So they started putting babies on the parents, on the mother, because that was where they thrived. And they realized that the babies thrived being skin to skin, and they called it kangaroo care because, of course, kangaroos keep babies in their pouch. Yeah. So this is where babies, like, they just strap them to the mother, warm, keep blankets around them, keep them warm, keep everybody warm, keep the babies secure and against the mother's skin. But they're often hooked up to stuff if they're coming from it's a NICU situation. Yeah. So what exactly was the question again?
I think it was just, why we're doing this. Like, you're being told to do this, why kangaroo care is important, even with the risk of moving baby to and from the incubators.
It's just so much better on the parent's skin for all those reasons that we were talking about earlier, why skin to skin is so important, because it helps regulate the baby. And that there's so much research to show that it does that for preterm babies as well. So just having them, and just, you're separate, like when you're in a NICU situation, like you're separated from your baby. So the time that you do get with them, do it skin to skin with them if you can, because that baby needs you. They need you for growth. They need you for development. They need you for regulation. They're still supposed to be inside you. So keep them as close as they possibly can be to you when you can. Yeah. Those are great ones from Patreon.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's everything.
All right. Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.